What's up, guys? Got an exciting video today. Finally have all of the photos printed from the slides. It has been a long journey trying to get all this stuff done. It is too long of a story to tell here. Suffice it to say, we have all of the images to look at from all these amazing slides that I have acquired over the past years, and it is going to be fun. We have all kinds of different kind of slides. Let's start with the card slides. So these slides would have been used by card companies. This is the type of slide they would have used to produce their cards. In this case, we'll start with Pacific. So we had like the Pacific Bagwell here. We'll set that aside. Here is the image that slide made. And that would have been the card had they produced a card. They did not, but that is Bagwell #1 right there, sitting in the chair. The next one is another Pacific one. Really nice swing of bags there. This is the image after scanning and printing and everything else right there. So that's bags. Awesome. Checking out his ball flying out of the ballpark, hopefully. But that is the image that slide would have created from the Pacific photographer. So these would have been ones taken by Pacific photographers, in this case Rob Leiter. And these would have been ones they didn't use on cards. This one's a really cool one here. But that slide there made this image definitely a cool one. Bagwell in the black alternate jersey there. Super cool. So that image would have been from that slide. The last Bagwell is a really cool swing here, right there. Really great looking swing. You can see in the back. It's Jack Wallen took this one. This is not a Pacific slide, but from another card company. This one is super cool. Jeff Bagwell there. Really great image of the follow through there of a young Bagwell. Super cool, man. 1994. The most dominant player I've ever seen outside of maybe Shohei now, but Bonds in his peak was 1994. Jeff Bagwell, before the strike, before he broke his hand, was totally ridiculous. Unbelievable. Next up, Mark McGwire. This one is another Pacific one. This one is from 1998. So this was a Pacific photographer in the big year of 98. Right there. Big Mac crouching down, staring over with his sunglasses. Super cool. I don't know if this will stay here, but yeah, it will. There's Big Mac. And if we're talking 1998, how can we not have Slammin' Sammy? Another Rob Leiter Pacific slide taken in 98. This one I absolutely love. Check out that image. There is Sammy getting ready to crush one. Everybody watching him. Super cool. So there's my favorite summer of all time right there. 1998. You got some photographs taken for baseball cards. They just didn't make the cut. Speaking of that, we got a Ken Griffey Jr., another Pacific Rob Leiter slide, 1998. He had an awesome year in 98 as well. Ken Griffey Jr. in the dugout. Here is the image that one produced. Really cool kid image there. Professionally shot by Rob Leiter for Pacific Trading Cards. And the last card slide here is Pacific, another Robert Leiter. This one's in 2000. This one's of Darren Erstad. But the cool thing about this one, guys, this is just super cool. So this one did make a card, and here it is. This is the Pacific card made, the Extreme Action card diving full out Darren Erstad in all of his awesomeness. Diving. That is the slide they used to produce that baseball card. And if we want to see the whole image, this is the image that the slide produced. Right there. So that is the photo that came from that slide, and they cropped it down to that to make that baseball card. But this is the full image that the slide produced before they cropped it down to that. How cool is that? So that one is one of the rare slides that are very hard to come by that actually did produce a pack-pulled baseball card. So to me, things don't get a whole lot cooler than that. Next up, Nolan Ryan, probably late 79, and probably when he was getting announced as being signed by the Astros. You can barely see it there, but that is a slide that was an OTS slide, an over-the-shoulder slide. Good pal of all of ours, Mookie Chilson, was telling me about this when I sent it to him. But this is what they would have shined over the shoulder of the broadcaster when he was telling the news back in the day, because they literally did project those back in the day. Of course, nothing was digital, but I wasn't sure how it was done. They literally projected the images over the shoulder, and this is what it would have been. Check it out. Nolan Ryan. They would have shined this over the guy's shoulder doing the news. Of course, no ESPN. Probably announcing Ryan going to the Astros. This is the right era for that to have been the news broadcast there in late 1979 to play for the Astros in 1980. So that is what the OTS, or over-the-shoulder slide, would have looked like had you seen that broadcast in 1979. And that's the slide that they used to do it. So that is super cool. Another type of slide. This next one is another different one. This is Globe Photos, Stan Pantovic. Now there's another famous photo of Ryan in this exact photo shoot, holding the bat over his shoulder, just being goofy. And this is from the exact same photo shoot, but this one is a little bit different. It is Ryan kind of playing around the same way, but he is extending the bat and kind of smiling in the dugout here. Same dugout, same red pads on the seat. You can find that other image out there. But just playing around with the bat in the dugout, getting some shots taken of him. That one right there is what that slide produced. Really cool image, really fun. So that is a different type of image, probably made for magazines and that kind of thing. And the other image is used a lot, but this one obviously got buried here. Now we have a really cool one. So this is an ESPN slide. So I think this was 92, 93, somewhere in that era. I looked it up one time, but May 17th, the Rangers ball game. I don't think it was a Ryan game, but you know, he was the famous guy, so they wanted to show him off. But this would have been the slide of Ryan. They would have showed on the broadcast on ESPN just to hype the game and talk about the Rangers. That's the slide from ESPN itself that they would have used. Super, super cool. And this is the image that's on there. So they would have popped that up there, talking about the Rangers, talking about Ryan. But that's the envelope that the slide would have been in at ESPN, and they would have used that on television. And then there's the image that created. Super cool. ESPN, Nolan Ryan for the win. Super awesome. Absolutely love that kind of stuff. Now we are into the team slides for television. These here are from 1983, and these are absolutely beautiful. But 1983, these are the Astros slides they would have had to show on television broadcasts. You got Bob Lillis, Joe Niekro, Bill Doran, Phil Garner, Ray Knight, Dickie Thon, Jose Cruz, Omar Moreno, Terry Poole, and of course, Nolan Ryan. So these are the 1983 slides that they would have given out to television stations of the Astros team to show the players when they were doing the broadcasts. Here is a list of the 83s here. And here's a list of the 1980s. So they would have had a list of all these guys to show. But let's look at the 1983s, then we will look at the 1980s. 1983, check these out. These are beautiful. I don't even want to fix the specs. I absolutely love this. These just look so vintage and sweet. Check it out. This is what you would have seen if they'd have popped up these guys on the screen. How about Dickie Thon? Man, super cool. There's Ray Knight. Big smile, Ray. I love the blue background on these 1983s. Phil Scrap Iron Garner. There's a stashy stash for you, BK. Serious contender there. Terry Poole. I love the images that these slides created. There's old Joe Niekro. He doesn't look as happy as some of the other guys. Billy Doran. He's my favorite for a while there in the 80s. Jose Cruz. He was our big hitting star for sure. And last but certainly not least, Nolan Ryan Jr., 1983 television slide image. That is what the slide produced right there. That's what you would have seen on TV if they wanted to talk about Nolan Ryan and pop his mug up there. So cool. Those are the 1983 broadcast television slides. Just super, super cool stuff. Gotta tell you. Here are the 1980 ones. So that was these slides here. Of course, you had Nolan, Ashby, Bill Verdon, Joe Sambito, Enos Cabell, Cesar Cedeno, Craig Reynolds, Joe Morgan, J.R. Richard, Joe Niekro. We got some awesome stuff and a couple Hall of Famers here. Let's check them out. First of all, got the manager. Look at these. These are so cool. 1980. These images are so cool. There's Sambito. Look at this. These images are fantastic. Oh man. Check these out. There's Enos. He's giving us a smile. There's Cesar. What a player he was. My goodness. 5-tool player. Awesome. Another one, Niekro, not looking super happy. But these vintage images are just so cool. There's Craig Reynolds. So awesome. There's Alan Ashby. Got to play a round of golf with him before. Super, super good guy. Awesome dude. J.R. Richard, the great J.R. Richard. If it wasn't for that stroke, we have no idea what would have happened. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable pitcher. Rest in peace, my friend. And Hall of Famer, Joe Morgan, with his second stint with the Astros back in 1980. Joe Morgan started with the Colt 45s in Houston. Of course, went on to Reds fame, Phillies, all kinds of different stuff. But hey, there he is, smiling with the Astros. And last but not least, not the greatest photo of all time, but Nolan Ryan. That's the image they caught for him in 1980 for broadcast television. And that's what was produced from that slide I just showed you. Super cool, guys. Just super, super cool. One last one, and this one is so fantastic. It is ridiculous. So, 1978. This was for ABC's Monday Night Baseball. Yeah, not Monday Night Football. Monday Night Baseball. The television networks would have got a box like this of slides to use to put up photos of all the players if they wanted to. And they got lists like this of their position so they could talk intelligently about them. And that is the box that it would have come in. 1978. This is the slide right here. One of the most beautiful Angels photos ever. 1978 Nolan Ryan. Television slide. Check this image out. If that is not an awesome vintage image of Nolan Ryan, I don't know what is. Super, super cool. That's what you would have seen in 1978 on television with Nolan Ryan with the Angels. What a cool image. But that is produced from that slide right there. Absolutely love that photo. Super, super cool. That one is just so awesome. This next one I threw in here because this is got to be the best Nolan Ryan card of all time. But when I was at that museum, this is the Armed Forces ID of Nolan Ryan from 1967. And I just think it's too awesome. I had to make a photo. So there it is. More to come on this later. But that right there, that's the greatest Nolan Ryan card on the planet. It is a 1 of 1. I got a nice image of it. Printed it up. That is as cool as it gets. So that is that one. That is not from a slide, but it has to be shown because it's too freaking awesome. Now these last ones definitely have to do with slides. They are absolutely incredible. So this is from the Topps photographer taking photos for the 1976 Topps Nolan Ryan card. That's where these slides come from. They are just incredible. Jerry Wachter was the photographer. I sent a bunch of these to friends, but I also kept 5 different images from that photo session. And they are fantastic, and they get better and better as we go. But the guy selling these did not know what they were, but I recognized immediately what they were, and I bought them. So I'm like, holy cow, this is historic. I mean, all this stuff here is historic. It's all fantastic. But now we're talking 1976 Topps Nolan Ryan cards. Doesn't get much better than that. But I have 5 different images here, progressively closer and closer to the image that Topps would have kept in the vault that they created the 1976 Topps Nolan Ryan card from. Let's look at the first one. Now we know. First we can just look. Hey, we can look at the card. Absolutely beautiful copy right here of Nolan Ryan, 1976. Super centered, super amazing. 1976, but that's the photo. So it looked like they just took a random shot of him in a game, whatever, sitting on the bench. But now, because I have these 1 of 1 slides, we know the story, which we would have never known before. But I have procured all of the slides from this photo shoot, and I did send some to friends, so all of those are 1 of 1s. But here's the first one that I kept right there. He is getting interviewed in the dugout. That's what was happening. Getting interviewed in the dugout, probably spring training, no one else around. Here is the next shot right there. This dude, I don't know who he is, interviewing Nolan Ryan. Here is the next shot. A little bit better. Just incredible. This is incredible history unfolding before our eyes. These are the images that these awesome, awesome slides have created. Here is the next one. Now you're starting to get the picture. But we didn't know this guy was sitting next to him. We didn't know he was getting interviewed. And I made a few copies of this one. I don't know if I will do some kind of giveaway or something, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Bam. Last but not least, he is looking straight up. Once he looked a little bit more up, this image would have been captured. But now we know what was going on. 1976 Nolan Ryan just getting interviewed in the dugout, spring training style, no one around. It's not during the game where they just captured that picture. It was right here, getting interviewed by this gentleman, and that is the closest we'll ever come to having the photo that Topps would have kept in the vault that created that actual card. But luckily, I bought all these from the guy that bought everything from Jerry's estate, and now I have the ones that exist that are the best, and a few of my friends have some of the other ones. So that is it, guys. All of the different slides, from Pacific card slides to television slides, ESPN slides, broadcast slides, over the shoulder slides, slides that were used on cards, and then this one to finish it up. I have a couple more things to show you just for the heck of it. One of them, when I was at the museum, I did print up a photo of the card that was made from the scout Red Murph that discovered him. That is a photocopy of the scouting card. He didn't even have New York Mets cards. They didn't even have scouting cards, so he used his Braves card that he had worked for before, scratched it out, put New York Mets, and then wrote everything about Ryan having the best arm he'd ever seen in his life. All that stuff you hear about, that's the card. That's what he wrote. Nolan Ryan was pitching in Alvin in high school, and he was going to sign him for the New York Mets, 1965. That is the card. I was standing a foot away from it. Super, super cool. But as a little bonus here, I have a couple of these. And by the way, I got these super high res, and I bought all these photos from a company that makes really high quality stuff for everything from professionals to weddings to whatever. These are as good as you can get on getting images. But this is, they have some custom sizes, and these worked perfectly with the 7x10. So this is a 7x10 of that 1978. I just wanted an awesome image of this. I don't know how I'm going to frame these or what I'm going to do, but there's a 7x10 of that amazing image from the 1978 television slide. Super, super awesome. And I got one other 7x10, and of course it's the one you're looking at right now. Nolan Ryan. Same photo session as the 76 Topps right there. Got me a 7x10. Doesn't get any better than that. You can see all the stucco on the wall and stuff that you can't see really well in the photo on the Topps. But this is fully color corrected and all that kind of stuff. But that's it, guys. Absolutely amazing stuff. All of the photos from the slides that I have acquired over time from several different sources. Lots of different types of slides. Just super, super incredible stuff in my opinion. This is as good as collecting gets to me. Let's just look at those for a second. Oh man, those are just incredible. Incredible stuff. The next time we do a video about photos, it is going to be a very, very special one. Got something very special to reveal to you guys, and I will have an offer for you guys to be able to get in on something that's very limited and very, very cool. A very, very special baseball card as well. So until next time, guys, I appreciate everything. Thank you for watching everything you do. I hope you enjoyed checking all this stuff out. Super awesome historical stuff, if you ask me. I really, really enjoy this type of collecting a lot, and this has been a journey trying to get all of these put together and made into super high quality prints. So thank you guys, and we will see you on the next one.